What's up, friends? This is Manni and welcome to a top 3 of the bomb blast effect weapons in War Robots using the new Dagon robot that arrived yesterday in the game. So we can blast titans away very quickly and even Orochis with that bomb effect that ignores any type of defense. And for this you're seeing 6 times Mark III Ksiphos, 6 times Mark III Cudgel, also with the sharpshooter shot grouping skill at maximum, and also 6 times Scal, being the oldest of these weapons. Before we start though, I want to make sure you know about yesterday's giveaway where you can win 1 out of 200 brand new Dagon robots, okay? So the video from yesterday, video description pinned comment is the link, check it out if you haven't yet participated. And also important, I still have not yet uploaded my short version to TikTok, which you can have still a guaranteed win on a Dagon robot if you manage to be, today at a random time, among the first 30 people to comment with your ID and platform on the TikTok channel, also linked down below. Okay, so it's gonna happen in the next few hours. Anyways, we're starting now with a compilation here with Scal, the oldest of these bomb effect weapons. And I also do want to say, I'm not doing the typical number 3 first, then number 2, and then number 1. Instead, I will mix the gameplay with all 3 of these weapons, and I will always display in the top left which current weapon is running, okay? And at the end of the video, I think we're gonna make a little conclusion of which weapon outperforms the others by far, which one is the second placed, and which one is the weakest of the 3 bomb effect weapons. And not just in dealing damage altogether, but also in how often they trigger their bomb effect, because that is the attractive part for me here. Never before did we have a robot in the game that has 6 weapons. This means even a Capri with 4 weapons that was previously the highest amount of light weapons, now you have 6. That means you can have 50% faster bomb effect accumulation rate on your enemies shooting these bomb effect weapons. And this is also why I chose to make this video now with the Dagon coming out. It's a great opportunity to make this compilation and this test of these bomb effect weapons and test the accumulation speed, right? Because ultimately that is what you need if you, for example, fighting an Orochi or heavy titans with big resistances. You're not really going to deal a lot of damage to them with your regular weapon damage output per hit, but that bomb effect is gonna seriously hurt them every time. And if you trigger the bomb effect with every second shot, which we're doing right here with the Scald, it's crazy. Look how often it fills up. Even when my weapons are empty, I still trigger bomb effect, bomb effect, bomb effect on reloading capacity or cap. And that is really amazing, man. And there are weapons that can do that even better, and you'll see that. But look at this, that was 3-4 bomb effects on that Lynx right there. This poor guy just got completely blasted, literally. And also remember that bomb effect is not only for your main target. Everybody standing close to this guy will receive the same bomb effect damage too. So this is an amazing way to punish people who stand close together, right? So really up-to-date way of playing, I think. Now with 6 of those weapons. I wonder if there's ever going to be a robot with 6 mediums. Can you imagine 6 times Hurricane? What you can do with this? Obviously, we're going to look at 6 times Noricums soon. We have to do it, you know me. Yeah, so I think 6 times freaking Hurricanes would be ridiculous. Or 6 times Thermite? Okay, there are certain limits to what should be done, I guess. But that right there was an Ophion who got killed pretty quickly. Now I guess he's angry because he spawns into his Titan, and that is basically the moment my gameplay ends, because now there's the first Newton Titan, and he's decided to single me out. He got killed by me, and apparently that was so unacceptable that for the next times there's no other target for him but me. Now after lift, I'm locked, so for 20 seconds straight I was unable to have control over my robot, which is great. Boop, lifted again. Thankfully I anticipated it and I got myself stuck under the tower. A bit lucky that doesn't always work, but it worked this time. Now there's already 2 Newtons on the battlefield. That's great. Now I take corrosion damage because I get lifted and I get corrosion, so I have no way of moving, yet I'm sitting in a accumulative corrosion pit. Yeah, there's just 0 way to play. Now I am lifted again. Thankfully, I anticipated it, obviously, and I'm just gonna hang around here. That's why I moved here, because I know if I don't, I'm dead. But yeah, there's still an Ravana coming in, and I'm gonna fight him. And yeah, so also this Also, this gameplay is probably the most sad gameplay you're gonna see in War Robots because there's a serious mutant party going on. And in this video, in this first match in particular, you're gonna see how sad the gameplay is now in War Robots with mutants going on. How much they destroy the game. The guy down there who apparently has no other goal in life than to kill this freaking Dagon has moved down to the bridge all the way and to outposition my movement so he can still get his hands on me. Wow. Great job, buddy. Anyways, we're now in Ksiphos, and now we're seeing how we can hurt a Rook Titan. And the Rook Titan is, yeah, his shields don't work against any of the bomb effect, blast effect weapons, not against the initial hit, and also not against the bomb effect. So those are great weapons to deal with Rooks, and to at the same time also scrap their shields very effectively. Now we're getting pushed a little by an Orochi, but that's great because it gives me a chance to fight that guy. And although his ability is still running, I can unload, right? With the bomb effect weapons, you can fire at Orokochis in their ability, because you will trigger damage with a bomb effect that their resistance cannot stop, right? They can't turn the bomb effect damage into dot effect. And that really is the big thing why these weapons are so up to date now, perhaps, right? So even though, and that's the crazy set, remember when I said this is going to be sad gameplay? I'm sitting here behind the tower because I know there are so many mutants. The choke ability gets you so high up in the air that not even hiding behind that tower can protect me. And this guy here is with me, that Sirius Titan. You know what he does? He leaves the game because there's no more gameplay for him in this match. There's nothing to do anymore. The only thing we can do with 3 enemy mutants here is to stand behind that tower and wait for them to walk around the corner and perhaps engage us in a one-on-one. Because there's no other option. As soon as, look, I got lifted, I get lifted again, and even though I'm trying to hide behind the highest obstacle I can find, it's not high enough to actually protect me. And I'm just getting deleted from the game. It is so sad what Pixonic has done to their game with this choke ability. Too high lift, too long duration, too long range to use the ability. It's just everything is wrong about this. And what you've seen here in the game is a completely normal outcome. That people simply leave the game when there's the mutants in the game. What are you gonna do? You move out, you're dead. Wow, great gameplay. Anyways, we're now in Cudgel, and so you see we just scrapped an entire Orochi with basically 1 magazine, and now we did it again with a Lynx. Now, a Lynx obviously isn't as tanky, but the Orochi was, and he got down pretty fast. I waited for this Reaper Crisis to open fire so I can shoot him, and of course I'm focusing him. I'm just acting like I'm firing something else because I really want to get rid of him. He is the big problem for me because he can bypass my shield and basically instantly kill me, even though I have last stand. But I have the new drone, the Seeker drone, that provides me with a 350-meter quantum sensor, all-time active, so I was able to see him in stealth and drop him when he thought he was invisible. Also Ophions. Be careful with Ophions when you're playing the Dagon robot, ladies and gentlemen, because those Ophions, when they have the legendary pilot, they will completely bypass shields for the entire flight duration. That is the death of the Dagon robot. Which is also why I say great job on the implementation of the Dagon. This thing is new, it's powerful, it offers something unique, and it's fun, but it's not breaking the game on a level like the Orochi does, because this thing can be countered rather easily. Running Shield Break on as an active module, or having one of the many legendary pilots or abilities that provide Shield Break for Nethers, for example, right, when they dash, for the Ophion, and there are many robots who have that now. And so this thing can really be countered quite easily. But if you don't shield break him, this is gonna be a serious boss for you to fight, because those shields regenerate very quickly. Yeah, 6 weapons, obviously massive firepower. You'll see it here. We're one-on-oneing a Fenrir. He comes in with 100% HP at a time when I'm down to 30%, right? And I can play with my shields all the time. Bring it back up, regenerate, bring it back up, reload, in cover, and so on. I can constantly play around with him and basically beat him, even though he came with 100% when I was at low HP. However, spoiler, I'm gonna lose this battle because now there's another setup coming in, also with high firepower, a Typhon with 4 similar medium-type shotguns. So that was just too much. That is too much. I can no longer play with my shield because they just drop the shield instantly. If it wasn't for the Typhon, I probably would have won that fight pretty easily without really taking any serious amount of damage. Now, the guy's still here. He regenerated his health because those weapons don't have the effect that Sonic weapons do, where you can no longer heal. But yeah, so you see, we're able to deal a lot of damage here to that Fenrir, and he is not really able to deal a lot of damage to us due to the constantly recharging shields that he has to deal with. Also, Secret Drone passively suppresses him every couple of seconds, like 10, 15 seconds. I'm not sure what the exact cooldown is on those. But when he gets through my shield and he starts to deal damage to me, he often gets suppressed. It happened again here. And that's also a thing why he has big troubles getting through that shield. But again, if 2 guys shoot you, that no longer works. Only 1 guy can be suppressed, and the firepower of 2 guys will definitely drop your shield instantly. So you kind of need the one-on-ones with the Dagon robot. It's a robot that is great in one-on-ones and terrible in anything more than that. Completely contrary to what the Orochi is. The Orochi you can run into a 5-man squad. And as long as your ability is there, you're fine. But with a Death Survivor pilot skill, you get your ability back at 50% without doing anything right. So you're fine again for 10 seconds. And yeah, it's just a no-brainer robot, and that's also why I didn't want to make a giveaway for this. But I do want to do it with the Dagon because I feel like this thing is implemented in a much better state. For the game. Anyways, I got myself slowed down pretty nasty here by a battleship, and I just don't understand how also this is okay. That I'm sitting there for 12 to 14 seconds, completely immobilized and unable to have control over my robot. It is just outrageous, because often you have more than just one battleship coming in, and these effects, they don't have a cooldown, so you can literally be sitting there forever if they just nail you with these slowing fields. It's just so sluggish and so annoying. The flow of combat is just disrupted by this far too much. Yeah, even more so with the Newton ability. But yeah, so let's shoot some Lynx here. You see this guy came in from behind, and I believe he was able to bypass my shield by getting close to me. Something I don't think you can do with the Typhon robot, but it seemed like he was able to do it with the Dagon here. Coming in from behind and bypassing my shield. That Newton is ready to shoot me, but thankfully I have nice cover. And here is one of the only positions in the freaking game. One of the very few where you can actually not get killed by a Newton choke. You know, as a result, like, all players on the map should just sit there and hide. But yeah, back with Ksiphos, you see we're doing a tremendous amount of damage to the Orochi that went down under the bridge. Now, I know what that Orochi is gonna do. He's gonna sit there, and he's gonna try and fight in a way where you... yeah, he pushes you off the bridge when you attack him. If I were to fight him now on the bridge, he would activate his ability and he would shoot me into the abyss down below. Because the constant pushing and pulses from this thing would basically make that happen. And can you blame him for this kind of strategy? Because he's not moving away from there. This is what he's gonna do. He's just gonna sit there the whole time and try and bait people to walk in there so they can put them and shove them off into the abyss. But I can't blame him because this is the most fun way of playing. To just shove an entire Orochi, for example, down into the abyss, getting him instantly killed. That is just freaking funny as heck, but none of our team fell for it. We all knew what he was trying to do. We all apparently knew it was an Orochi, and he's gonna try and do that, and nobody fell for it. So he's just sitting there the whole match doing nothing. It's funny. So, and look at that cool teleport here, man. Awesome. I even got the kill with Ksiphos with a bomb effect, and then I teleported back with the Imugi teleport. Although, I must say that was not a skill move. I didn't know the portal was behind me. That was a completely random thing. It was not like, oh man, I completely planned this. Of course, I could have acted like I did, but I did not plan that. That was just, I was just as surprised as you were to see myself teleporting somewhere. I was like, okay, well, we're here now. And there's a full Orochi getting down into the abyss. You see all this? That was like the end boss just falling off. Imagine you're playing one of the PC Dark Souls games or Souls games and you have this mad end boss and he's like such a pain in the butt. And he just falls to his death. How funny would that be? And that is what happened here with that Orochi just falling down into the abyss. Speaking of Dark Souls and Souls games, if you want to see me play those, I have another channel started. It's called Manni Plays. just as you would write my name together with place. And that's where I do Lords of the Fallen and Armored Core and also other upcoming Souls titles. So yeah, if you're interested in that, check it out. Manni Plays is the channel. But yeah, let's get back to Ksiphos. The most up-to-date, or the newest of the bomb effect weapons. And is it the best? We'll see. At the end of the video, as I told you, I will give you the conclusion as to which of these weapons I believe is the best. And it's a little difficult because you can't clearly say this is the best and this is not the best, because it depends on the various different factors. But more about this later. 6 weapons. It just looks so insane. Thankfully, this Newton Titan only has Vortex, Boulevard and Kiston, so he's not gonna insta-kill me. And also, he doesn't fire his shots in sequence. If he would fire them in sequence, maybe 1 or 2 of his rockets would begin to start dealing damage after my shield is dropped. Here you see I'm taking a lot of damage here because this Fenrir is actually running shield break, which surprised me so much. I did not expect that. I'm not sure why I can't move. Maybe I got lifted by a Newton, but there was a bug and I could not fly up. Anyways, now we're in Cudgel, okay? And Cudgel is insane. 6 Cudgels are just gonna rip right through pretty much anything. Even Titans. You see here there's a Newton. Bum bum bum. Look at this. Bomb effect. It was only 1 bomb effect though. You see? Alright. Then boom, bomb effect number 2. Bomb effect number 3. Almost filling up a 4th bomb effect. But we emptied our clip 2 times. And we only got 3 bomb effects out of the deal. And that seems a little less than you would expect, right? From 6 of these weapons. When I say empty the clip, I mean we fired 1 weapon empty 12 times in a very short time, because we have 6 weapons times 2, right? Emptying twice. So having only 3 bomb effect filled up with that shows that the Cudgel is the slowest at filling the bomb meter. But it is the highest damage output of all the weapons, especially when you're short and you hit with all of your spreading bullets, right? So that guy wanted me, but it's like 2 frickin' anglers in the way blocking him. Let's go back to Cudgel and start this gameplay here. I'm not sure why the Ophion flew in from his base at the beginning of the match just to land without a shield in the center beacon and get killed with no defense system running. That was weird. Why would you use your flight ability of the Ophion just to get there and die? I don't know. It's a little awkward. Now, you see, I'm playing with skill here. I know this Orochi no longer has his ability. I'm coming in, I'm emptying the clip, and then he just gets the 50% Death Survivor ability back. So, complete no-brainer. No way for me to counter this player, because he's got the Clever Survivor spill, so no matter what I do, he's just gonna activate a second ability again. Then I get, after getting pushed forever, 1 opportunity to empty my clip a single time, and before I can reload and open fire again, the ridiculously short cooldown kicks in again, and he is in ability run number 3. Wow, that is great. I'm glad I can use my skills so well in this game to counter him. And then somehow I got attacked in my base from behind by 2 other players. 3 guys in my home base beacon, or in the home base, from the enemy team. What the heck were they all doing there? Okay. Alright, anyways, we're jumping into the Ksiphos version one more time, and you see how quickly we can trigger bomb effects with this. 1 clip of the Ksiphos deals very good focus damage at long range, and I think we can trigger like 4 bomb effects, maybe even 5, but I think definitely 4 of them at the very least. Maybe it's between 4 and 5. Much higher bomb effect accumulation rate as any of the other. As much faster than the Cudgel does. But is it faster than Scald, I wonder? I'm not quite sure. Because Scald seemed to fill it up ridiculously fast. But the Scald brings the lowest amount of damage per hit. So it's a bit of a drawback. No matter what you pick, you're gonna have to take some drawbacks, right? And that's what I mean. There are certain conditions in which certain weapons outperform others. Here we have a Orochi again. I'm not sure how many this guy has. I think he's got like 3 or 4 Orochis in his hangar. I don't know. It seems like there's nothing other but Orochi, which is fine. I mean, understand, this is the most powerful robot, so people in a competitive multiplayer game, they will run what's most powerful. You can't blame the player. Look, he's jumping into another Orochi right after. But maybe this shows us that it would be good if Pixonic could consider not allowing the most powerful meta robots to be run 3 or 4 times in one hangar. Maybe it should be more like Mech Arena, where you can have one robot one time, and the other robots need to be other robots, right? That would keep a certain variety in the game going, and you can't just brainlessly play the most broken thing 5 times in your hangar. Because if you play it wrong one time and you get killed, it would be gone, and that's it, you know? I think it would be more interesting for War Robots, but obviously, in terms of, for Pixonic, it's not interesting to make such an idea happen. Why should they basically scrape off the amount of sales they can make with a certain content, you know? It's, for them, it would be the worst idea ever, probably. But yeah, it's still something I would wish I could see in the game. Now, shields are gone and we die. That's typically what you have happen. Back in Scal, look, bomb effect, bomb effect, bomb effect, bomb effect, bomb effect, bomb effect, bomb effect. Look how fast this triggers it. And against the Titan, this may actually be the better thing, because the Titan has so much resistance, I wouldn't really be able to deal a lot of damage to him anyways with any of my direct hits, but the constant bomb effect really hits him hard. So I think those things, the Scald, although the oldest, triggers the bomb effect by far the highest amount of times, but still may not perform better than the other weapons. Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this massive compilation, again, took me a long time to create, but that's what I want to do. I want to give you the highest quality content that exists for this game. And that means for me sitting down, pre-creating content and cutting it, and then making awesome compilations for you. If you like it, let me know what you want to see next. And also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. Hit that notification bell so you get notified for the next one, right? A top 3 tank videos, or top 5 is planned, and a few others as well. So I'm getting a lot of bomb effects back into this Newton, but this time things are getting a little crazy because I've already lost 2 weapons, so now I'm a Capri. Now I'm basically a Capri. So with 2 weapons missing, we no longer have this quick bomb effect potential anymore. That is now gone. It's still gonna be faster than most other weapons, but not quite as fast anymore. So yeah, I hope you guys are aware of the giveaway, I hope you have participated already. Check out the TikTok, because in a few hours I'll be releasing the short version of this there, and if you manage to be among the first 30 commenters with your ID and platform there, you would be a guaranteed Dagon robot winner in a week or 1.5 when I announce the winners finally on YouTube. You would be in there too. Alright, so we have one more match, and then I guess we're gonna start talking about the number 1, number 2, and number 3. This, by the way, is interesting. We have a Ksiphos ball there, and I'm triggering 4 or 5 bomb effects against him, but he was healing up, and that's why he's still at 60-70% health. Otherwise, I think he would have been at 50 or 40% now. So it is a way of dealing with Ksiphos balls, which normally... Ksiphos balls that you normally can't really handle. The bomb effect can do it. Alright, so now let's talk about the number 3, which is the weakest of all these weapons. Despite the fastest bomb effect trigger, it is Scald, because you have such low damage per hit that although you trigger faster bomb effects, you're just not going to outperform the other weapons. The other weapons are simply better, more effective. They fire a longer, quick fixed reload, not a continuous reload, and then also the damage per hit is just so much better that they perform better overall. But there may be the 1 or 2 situations where you have heavy resistance against you, like a Fenrir or like a heavy Titan. And in that situation, or when you are suppressed, for example, right? Let's say you're suppressed by something. In that moment, the Scald would perform the best, because the bomb effect doesn't care about you being suppressed. It does bomb effect damage, period. And bypassing all resistance. So in that moment, Scald would actually be best while being suppressed or while having heavy resistance against you. But overall, not as effective as the others, and therefore it plays number 3. Number 2 would be, and this is different now, depending on the range. If you're really close to the enemy, number 2 would be Ksiphos, because the Cudgel that you see right here outperforms the other, the Ksiphos easily in short range. The damage output per hit, per fill up and bump effect, everything is just insane about Cudgel in short range, and therefore this is definitely the strongest of these 3 weapons if you are within, let's say, 250 meters range. If you are outside of 250 meters range, you would lose too much damage output to the spreading of your shotgun projectiles, and this is when Ksiphos would be the better one. Now, it depends on the map, and it depends on the situation. That's why I can't say this is clearly number 1, this is clearly number 2. But I am typically a face brawler. I'm typically this go right in a face hug and deal the maximum damage there type of guy. And for me, Cudgel would be the most interesting and the most dominant choice, because even Titans just get absolutely deleted by this thing in seconds. This would be my number 1, and Cefas therefore would be number 2 for me. But maybe you are more the type of player who fires from second line or from like medium range, and in that case, you would be better off using Ksiphos and putting that as your number 1. I hope you guys can follow me on this, and if you have different opinion, let me know. Other than that, I hope you guys had a fun time with this video. Spawn rating still works, and maybe is a reason why we should have a spawn protection. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video, and Manni signing off. Bye-bye.